hi, it's me, Chesh. Ignore my hair, for it is bad. But, as you can see, I'm drawing today. And I'm not just drawing anything today. So, I want to start this off by saying there's one thing that's on my bucket list. I mean, there's more than one thing. But one thing, top tier, on my bucket list of something I've always wanted to do is to do a comic. And I've never been able to do it because I've been either too busy or it would be too much work or I don't have a story for it. But I think I should just design characters and make a story based around the characters that I create, which I've done. And that's what I'm doing today. I'm designing the main character, Ezra. Now, at the end of this video, you'll see that I put Fern on the sheet instead of Ezra. That's because Fern is kind of a placeholder name that I use for most of my female protagonists, because I also I'm writing a couple of books behind the scene as well. This one is, I don't want this to be a long comic. I'm thinking maybe, which sounds long, but I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, 40 to 60 chapters of kind of short chapters, because I don't want to go too big for my first one, because I don't want to burn myself out, and I want to see how I like it. So I think this will be good, short and sweet. But I'm calling it the Crafting Witch, and name also pending. That may not be the final name, but I wanted to talk a little bit about my funky little character I have here. So, in this world, she's a witch, and in this world, witches are made through magic. Not through, like, getting pregnant, but through magic. So in her case, she was made in a cauldron. Her mom is an her mom is an abyss witch, and her dad is a dragon. And they decided one day to have a kid, and so they got a cauldron and started putting ingredients in it. Black cat hair, abyss goo, dragon scales, and oh, what's this? Pink cupcakes got added? Thus, Ezra was born from all that stuff and pink cupcakes accidentally added, which sounds a little bit like Powerpuff Girls with Chemical X being accidentally added, but in this case has the opposite results. It makes her powers a little weaker, but her sweeter. Her whole powers are based around crafts and everyday magic, as opposed to offensive or defensive magic. Basically, she does enchanted knitting and sewing, and whatever else I decide is crafting to her. So yeah. So I was heavily inspired, physical-wise, by actually Black Cat. First off, a lot of art I saw for Black Cat on Pinterest was interesting, where they're just like eyes and no mouth, and they're just like a black blob in the shape of a cat. I really liked that design. And I gave her one eye, because I think that makes her look more Eldritch Horror. So she's kind of a cross between a black cat, Eldritch Horror, and pink cupcakes. So I gave her cat ears and a cat tail. Her arms and paw pads and feet are heavily inspired by Courage the Cowardly Dog. Initially I was going to make her more shaped like Courage, but I don't know. As she came more and more alive in my heart, she had more of a dress shape to her and more long. She's still really short. She's short and small, but she's still an adult. It's just the way the pink cupcake stunted her growth as well. But, yeah, I really love how she came out. And her one eye, she doesn't really use it for seeing. It's more or less to convey emotions in a way. She sees using magic mostly, which sometimes scrambles up colors if she doesn't do it correctly, which I think will be an interesting storyline to follow maybe. But I was thinking for this comic, maybe have it be more slice of life, more cozy, just, happy. It's not going to get dark or drama filled, which means I don't think it's going to be very popular. Just because, it's not a storyline a lot of people grips a lot of people. Like, it's not meant to grip you. It's not meant to be life altering. It's just meant maybe for you to relate to a little bit and feel warm or maybe a little embarrassed for the character. None of my stuff is ever going to be dark or drama filled because, quite frankly, I don't like that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to do something that I don't like. So yeah. But that's what she's inspired by. I also have Obsidian where I have all of I used to use Millinotes, but Millinotes is so expensive. Like, I wasn't going to pay for it, and you can only have 100 notes on the free version. And I was like, I need an alternative. So I got Obsidian, and at first I was really overwhelmed by it. But I actually learned it fairly easy just by messing around with it, and I learned I think it's clipboard mode, and it's basically Millinotes with no limitations. So I did pretty good. I may show that briefly on the screen. I don't know. I may or may not. But yeah, the program I'm going to be using for this comic book and for designing characters is Clip Studio, which is my usual format for most of my art. So, to be fully clear, this is not my first attempt at a comic book. Years and years ago, I had a comic book. It wasn't really a comic book. It was more or less a lot of text with little pictures in it. But basically, all during my cancer treatments, the way I coped with it and the way I took notes was through making little comics and writing stuff down in a journal. So I decided to share this. Now, I don't think this is still up, so I don't think you can go and look at it because I think I deleted it because it needed reformatting. Webtoons changed and it needed reformatting, and I just didn't want to bother. And then I did a little series, D&D series, on the group that I was playing with. And I did that for a while before I got sick again and couldn't do it anymore. And stopped doing that one. I also don't think you can view that one either because it needs reformatting. Speaking of which, I don't know if I'll put my comic on Webtoons because, I don't know, Webtoons just seems to be kind of scummy with how they treat their artists. Like, I don't think I'm never going to monetize my comics, quite frankly. But I don't appreciate how they treat their artists and how they're bringing these big time comics in there, and it's overshadowing and saturating the market to where you can't find these indie comics anymore. It's all these big time comics. Like DC is coming in and Marvel's coming in, and then you have various other web comics that are Korean, which is fine, but they're not indie. Like Webtoons used to be for indie comics where you could find them and read them, and it's no longer that. Now, that being said, Tapas isn't much better on the oversaturation part. Like, and I'm sorry if you can hear that car, but it's my neighbors. Anyway, it's not much better. They've not got Marvel or DC on there yet, I don't think, but they've got all these manhwas on there that are big and that you can pay for. And it too used to be indie, but I think it's a little easier to find indie comics on Tapas than it is Webtoons right now. I may post on both, but I'm more inclined to post on Tapas. I may even get my own website and post it. Of course, having your own website comes with its own troublesomes. Like, you have to pay for your website, and then you have to bring in your own foot traffic, basically, for it. So that would be really tough. But I already was thinking of getting my own website for my books too, to publish. So we'll just see. First I gotta write and finish this comic. But, you know, this is getting a little long. So I think I will end this video here. And I hope you like my character Ezra and my idea of witches. And I will talk more about this comic book as it comes out. And I will see you guys later.